Is anyone else feeling nostalgic thinking about this being the last part of Tommy Egan's journey? I know we're getting Power, Origins, so technically this isn't the end of Tommy. But this is the end of this version of Tommy, and this part of his journey. And more than any other character in the Power universe, I'm feeling a lot sadder about it than I thought I would. When Power ended, it was a genuinely sad day for fans. Sure, the series had seen better days by the time it was over, but no matter how you felt about Ghost, Tommy, Tasha, Tariq, and everyone else, the series was special. It was entertainment at the absolute highest level, and then, after 6 seasons, it was just over. Of course, we quickly got Power Book 2, Ghost, which filled some of the void, and then Power Book 3, Raising Kanan came along and proved that the universe didn't just need to expand forward but could look to the past as well. But as much as early Ghost was a revelation and a showcase of Tariq Street, Patrick's growth from bratty kid to full-blown drug dealer extraordinaire, Power Force was it was the show that would follow fan-favorite Tommy in a new spot, with the same grandiose tendencies and lack of impulse control, surrounded by a new supporting cast of allies and enemies. While the first season was okay, Power Book 4 Season 2 was spellbinding. The first season, at times, felt like it was trying too hard, but the second season found its groove and allowed Tommy to be Tommy. And that's precisely what we got during Power Book 4 Season 3. When Shanti and Jenard lamented Tommy's 9 lives and inability to die, it felt very much like they could have been any number of people back in New York who took their shot against Tommy but lost, typically in humiliating fashion. Tommy doesn't always get everything right. He's a hothead with narcissistic qualities, just like his deceased bestie Ghost, but if you're going to beat him, it's likely not because you outsmarted him. It was the show that would follow fan-favorite Tommy in a new spot, with the same grandiose tendencies and lack of impulse control, surrounded by a new supporting cast of allies and enemies. While the first season was okay, Power Book 4 Season 2 was spellbinding. The first season, at times, felt like it was trying too hard, but the second season found its groove and allowed Tommy to be Tommy. And that's precisely what we got during Power Book 4 Season 3. When Shanti and Jenard lamented Tommy's 9 lives and inability to die, it felt very much like they could have been any number of people back in New York who took their shot against Tommy but lost, typically in humiliating fashion. Tommy doesn't always get everything right. He's a hothead with narcissistic qualities, just like his deceased bestie Ghost, but if you're going to beat him, it's likely not because you outsmarted him. With this hour picking up right after the events of last season, emotions were high as hell all around, and both men were steadily plotting against the other. But little did Tommy realize all the snakes surrounding him. Tommy's used to being a lone wolf when he must be, and he came to Chicago that way. Solidifying a partnership with Diamond was a good move for him, but neither man has ever been able to fully trust the other. And without that trust, their partnership has always felt on the verge of collapse. Diamond could tell that Tommy was hiding something, but he wasn't able to fill in the blanks until Jenard spelled it out for him. On the one hand, Tommy doesn't need to tell Diamond who he's dating, but you're dating your enemy's sister, something you should let your business partner know about. Diamond had every right to be frustrated with Tommy, but it was all a little hypocritical considering Diamond had just given the go-ahead from Jenard to kill Tommy's nephew. The minute Tommy finds out there's a price on D-Mac's head and everybody knows about it, but him, will be the day they all truly meet the man who killed Angela and Proctor, and lose not a minute of sleep over it. You would think, considering the way Tommy escapes retribution at every turn, people would be less likely to keep things from him, but we see every week that's not happening. But the longer this hour played out, the more I began to wonder how long Tommy and Diamond can stay connected, because even after a pledge to be more honest, you know that Tommy won't be able to keep that promise. He didn't intend to keep that promise when he said it. Tommy's primary focus has always been on becoming the biggest connect in Chicago. If he feels that lying to Diamond gets him closer to that goal, he won't hesitate. For Diamond's part, he doesn't want to be left in the dark, and that makes perfect sense. But it's also not as if he doesn't have his own ambitions and goals in sight.
Starz crime drama Power was rife to expand into a franchise with how popular the series was, so it wasn't a surprise when the network ordered multiple spin-offs. But it's Power Book 4, Force that feels like the truest continuation, because it's the first spin-off that pops off the screen like the original show, and because Joseph Sikora's protagonist Tommy Egan feels even more like a runaway freight train. Power didn't glamorize the drug world. It was an urban tragedy that had to end with the death of its hero James "Ghost" St. Patrick. The show also did a pretty good job of screwing over Tommy. By the series finale, his best friend Ghost and his fiancée Lakeisha Grant had died, his associates in the drug game betrayed him worse than Fez in Euphoria, and his own mother turned on him. His flashback appearance in Power Book 2, Ghost, made things worse, adding that Ghost's widow Tasha framed Tommy for her husband's murder. If anyone had unfinished business and a reason to keep going, it was Tommy. Plus, Joseph Sikora's incredible talent was perfect to build another show around. A spin-off about a protagonist returning to their hometown isn't new, even the Cleveland show did it, but it's the way Sikora plays it that makes Power Book 4 force the follow-up fans deserve. Tommy has always been a live wire, even in his most quiet or vulnerable moments is never quite still. It makes complete sense that he'd take the heavy blows he suffered in Power and use them as fuel to not only start over, but make his own empire where he wouldn't have to rely on anyone or care about losing anyone. Force also gave him a substantive reason to stay in Chicago by revealing his grandmother was still alive and he had an ignored half-brother. This show is Tommy Egan's reckoning, and the fact that Sikora is also a Chicago native adds a neat extra quirk to it. Viewers are now several episodes into the season, and Tommy's battles have fleshed out the character in ways that Power never could. In the original series, though Tommy and Ghost were partners and even operated independently at times, they were always inexorably connected. Power Book 4, Force has made Tommy clearly number one, with all the positives and negatives that entails. The subtle psychological shift of being professionally beholden to no one else has given him an extra edge. There's also no one to check him and he faces the full consequences of his mistakes. One aspect of Power Book 4, Force that's particularly intriguing is its exploration of Tommy's newfound family, his half-brother J.P. Gibbs, Anthony Fleming III, and nephew D-Mac, Lucien Cambric. Though D-Mac being J.P.'s son isn't public knowledge yet, it's bound to come out eventually, and J.P. has already told Tommy that he's in a financial bind. Ghost's family was completely caught up in the game, even his true love Angela was a U.S. attorney. J.P. is trying to stay on the straight and narrow as is Gloria, and D-Mac's not totally in yet. Tommy can have a side of his life that has nothing to do with drugs, giving himself a balance and saving himself from making the mistakes Ghost made by being unable to keep things separated.
Starz has released a new trailer for Power Book 2, Ghost Season 4 Part 2 alongside some first-look photos that tease a final showdown. The newly released trailer sets the stakes high for emotional final episodes, emphasizing that no one is safe. Part 2 of the final season will premiere on Starz at 8 p.m. in the US on Friday, September 6th. Episodes will be available to stream on the Starz app from midnight. In the first half of Power Book 2, Ghost Season 4, unanswered high-stakes questions were uncovered and Tarek learned he is the father of Diana's baby. Part 2 will showcase the adage, like father, like son. Tarek finds himself in an eerily similar situation, just like his late father, Ghost, stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the choice to leave the game or take over, reads the official synopsis for Part 2. Entrapped by Detective Carter, the Tejada family realizes their safety is not guaranteed. Monet fiercely fights for her family to become whole again, but is it too late? Noma is working her way to the top of the food chain. Meanwhile, her daughter, Anya, gets too close to the game, forcing Noma to think twice about her actions.
Dark clouds forming in the heavens over me, but I say hallelujah anyway.
As they held their guns up towards each other, Monet told Tarek that she knew they both had a lot of reasons to want to take each other out, but she had a better idea. She proposed that if he give her kids a pass, she'll give him one too. Monet explained that all she cared about at the moment was making sure her family was safe, especially her grandbaby. Tarek, who is obviously still shell-shocked by the news, lowers his gun before leaving the house. That episode ends with Tarek pulling up to the party/concert Braden put together for No Lie. When they finally catch up,
Braden breaks down all the logistics of how their business will run and Tarek is very impressed. When Braden is done, he asks Tarek how things went with the Tejadas. Tarek tells him that he might not a drink before he gets into it and also says that needed to hit the blunt Braden was hitting at the moment. As the two sit at the bar, Tarek spots Anya. He walks up and offers to pay for her drinks as he introduces himself. She tells him that she can pay for her own drinks. Tarek responds by saying he could see that but she shouldn't have to. She loved the line and introduced herself. The episode ends with Tarek telling Anya that it's nice to meet her. That boy cold. Power Book 2, Ghost continues to dominate television screens as it approaches its mid-season finale in its final 10-episode run. This spin-off from the original Power series, which concluded in 2020, has garnered significant attention, with Season 4 attracting 6.5 million multi-platform viewers during its debut week on Starz. Michael Rainey Jr. portrays Tarek St. Patrick, the son of James St. Patrick, known as Ghost, a former drug lord and businessman. Tarek, who killed his father in the original series, now navigates a dual life as an Ivy League college student and a drug dealer. Season after season, viewers witness Tarek's attempts to earn his inheritance through education, only to be drawn deeper into a life of crime. He embodies the legacy of Ghost, version 2.0, as per the report by Radio Times. Adding to the complexity, Detective Don Carter, Michael Ealy, enters the fray, determined to bring down Tarek and his associates, including federal agent Angel Young, with ties to Paz and Angela Valdez. The impending threat forces Tarek and his loved ones into precarious situations, testing their resilience and alliances. The Starz app offers streaming for every Power franchise installment, including Power Book 2, Ghost. Fans excitedly await the dramatic finale of this spin-off, which functions as a sequel and a standalone story in the Power universe, as the series gets more intense with each new episode release.